Okay, we're now ready to start our actual weaving. This is going to be loom waist, so I'm just going to let that hang out there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 5/2 cotton. It's a little bit thinner. It's just for the border or the edge. But this time what we're going to do is we're not going to tuck it in to start with because we're going to learn a little bit about hem stitching. Now with hem stitching, we're going to start from, since I'm right-handed, from right to left, and they recommend having enough yarn that's at least 3 times the width of your project. So I'm going to go a little bit more, 1, 2, and 3. So now I have a little bit more than I need to as a width, but we're going to start weaving a little bit, and then we're going to do our hem stitch. So we put that one in there. Now we're going down, so we're back to our weaving again. Remember, this is just the border right now. We're just going to be doing the edge or the border. Again, we start with that little angle. And I do have to admit, you're working on your selvages does take time. Even for me on a rigid Heddle loom, I've been weaving for many years, but using a rigid Heddle loom is new to me. Like that. And it's kind of squishing up a little different than what we saw here, but that's okay because we're going to use that, like I said, for hemming. I'm going to put that back in, and I notice we're going to pull that, it'll straighten out after we get started a little bit on that. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to rest the shuttle over here, and we are going to take one of those darning needles. Maybe you have a plastic one or a metal one, something that's not sharp on the end, and we're going to thread that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start doing a hem stitch. We are now ready to start doing our hem stitching. I still have this little thread out here. I decided to cut it, but what we're going to do is we're going to feed that back in to the same opening, the shed that we had before. I'm going to tuck the tail out. We'll cut that out later and beat this a little bit closer, or beat that in. And now we have that back out. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to do the hem stitch, and we have this thread that was out here. There's at least 3 times the width of your project, and this is 34 threads. Well, I want to do groups of 4, but obviously 4 times 8 gives you 32, and we have 2 left over. So I'm going to do 4 and then 2 in the middle, all by itself. When we're all done, it's not going to make that big a difference. So how do we do a hem stitch? Well, since I'm going to do 4, I'm going to, right there, I'm going to bring my yarn up. Then I'm really going like an X in the back. So I'm going to come up in between the same two threads and pull that like that. What I do again on this side, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Get that out of there. Same thing, I come back to the same opening. I'm going to go in there where that opening it is, get that tail out of there, pull that through, and I'm going to come right straight down between the 2 threads. I'm counting over 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I'm bringing the needle through there, but I'm coming up right there. I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And bring that up again. It's between the same two. And now here's where I'm going to do 2 in the middle. That's a decision you can make however you want to do that. But right now, that was my decision. Again, keep on going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Angle, cross. I have a whole recording on how to do this as well. Whoop, figuring out where I am here. And I just realized that what I did here, I had made a little mistake. So let's go back. Right now, it's good to see what happens when you make mistakes, right? So I just saw what I did here. I don't know if you could see it. What I did was I came up in the wrong place. So I am going to bring that back through. I was counting at the end and I saw that I didn't have a group of 4. So I want to come up between that one, those two. Bring that through. Now we're back to 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of like it when people are demonstrating and they might have to fix something. It does help us who are new at doing things on how to correct something. Go up again. And now I should have 8 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over. Whoop, almost took that out of there. And that one. And we have the last little group. Bring that through. And now what do? Well, what you can do, right now I'm going to bring this through just the last one here like I did before. I'm going to tighten a little bit. And then what you can do is basically weave this thread back in. So you could go up and down. For me right now, that's what I'm going to do. And just weave it back in. And come up again one more time. And then over. So that'll be at the end down there. We can cut it off on the back. So we just did the hem stitch. And we're going to be going on to weaving our mug mat next. Sorry for the blip. We're going to come over here, wrap it around, come through here, go back up here, count over 1, 2, 3, 4. Through, pull a little tight. We have another one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, we have those 2 in the middle we're going to do. In essence, we're doing the same thing that we did on the other side, just in reverse. We're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, and like I said earlier, I also have all of this just a recording of hem stitching. It's with finer yarn. It's the same technique, and there are other books out there too. So now this time we don't really have anything to catch on to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap that around. Actually comes around like that. And then what I can do is I can literally go through that again, kind of make a little loop and tie that together. And then what I'll do is, like I did in the other one, we can go up and down a few times just to catch, kind of weave that in. It's easier for me just to go up and down here and catch every other thread, because when we're all done, it's all going to be washed and those little ends will be tucked inside. So there we go. We have that. We'll just do a quick short trim there. So now we have our first coaster. And just to let you know a little bit about what happened with the shrinkage here, like I said, it's a little about 4 inches up here. Down here we're at 3.5, 3 1/4. Same thing here, a little bit longer. If you want a wider coaster, you would add another inch on there. So we're going to keep going, and you can keep weaving until you get all of your coasters done, or maybe make something else out of this particular project.